What are the supply chain impacts of a West Coast dockworker strike? With the July 1, 2022 expiration of the current contract between West Coast dockworkers and their employers, the possibility of a strike is very real. Workers represented by the International Longshore and Warehouse Union, ILWU, and the employers represented by the Pacific Maritime Association, PMA, began the process of negotiating a new deal in earnest in May, with issues of pay and port automation at the forefront, especially following the added supply chain stress peaking so far in 2021. And that supply chain stress, which has certainly not gone away in 2022, would only get worse with a strike, as the approximately 22,000 ILWU workers staffed 29 ports on the West Coast, including a couple of the busiest in the world, LA and Long Beach. What do dock workers do? There is plenty of physical work like loading and unloading cargo, preparing docks for incoming ships, mooring ships correctly upon arrival and departure, and clerical work as well, like recording weights, dimensions, and contents, checking bills of lading, and maintaining accurate records of damaged goods. In other words, they do just about everything at the ports to keep supply chains moving, meaning if there are no dock workers working, the ports are basically no longer working. And if the ports are no longer working, that means somewhere in the neighborhood of $1 trillion worth of goods a year moving in and out of the U.S. through these West Coast ports is impacted as well, causing major backups, backlogs, delays, whatever you want to call them, and potentially empty shelves at retailers and eventually homes. Other effects trickle down supply chains in both directions, with American farmers struggling with exports making it to other countries in time, and truckers and rail carriers dealing with empty loads. What adjustments are made to mitigate port shutdowns? The U.S. does have other ports besides those on the West Coast, so shippers may shift their ocean freight to go through ports on the Gulf of Mexico or the East Coast, then move imports by land-based transport from there. In fact, those shifts have been happening already, with the prospect of a strike looming. The problem? Capacity, space, water depth, storage space, etc. at these other ports is at a premium, and delays along with higher costs to shift operations are inevitable. Add in another external factor this year: busy China ports like Shanghai had lengthy COVID-related shutdowns and are just getting back in action, leading to an influx of activity. That's something U.S. port infrastructure simply can't handle without the West Coast in operation. Plus, much of the activity shifted to other ports will have to shift back whenever a settlement is reached, which brings with it more costs to reroute the already rerouted stuff. While advanced planning is normally a good thing, many experts believe the government would not allow an already stressed supply chain and an inflationary economy to deal with the added issue of a West Coast port shutdown, meaning they'd intervene to force negotiations to continue without a work stoppage. In that case, all the movement to prepare for a strike could represent an unnecessary step by the industry that could exacerbate supply chain problems and add costs. Have questions about freight and logistics for your business or ready to go managed? Call us at 317-208-5565 or visit our website, www.intechfreight-logistics.com, and hit the Request a Quote button to tell us about yourself. We'll be happy to follow up with you to go over your specific business needs and offer up solutions. Please do give us a thumbs up below and subscribe to this channel to get future videos first. Thanks very much for watching.